Title: Trump vs. Harris, a high-stakes showdown in Russia's calculations. As the United States looks toward its next presidential election, a potential contest between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris would represent a dramatic clash of ideologies, policies, and political strategies. Both figures bring their distinct backgrounds and perspectives to the table, and the global implications of their leadership are closely watched, especially by key geopolitical players like Russia. Donald Trump, the outsider with a loyal base. Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, remains a formidable figure in American politics. Known for his unconventional style and America First policies, Trump's presidency was characterized by significant shifts in U.S. domestic and foreign policies. He prioritized economic deregulation, strict immigration control, and renegotiation of international trade agreements, aiming to recalibrate America's role on the global stage. Trump's tenure was marked by polarization. His strong rhetoric, use of social media, and direct engagement with his base earned him unwavering support from his followers, but also significant criticism. His handling of key issues such as the COVID-19 pandemic, race relations, and his alleged role in the events leading up to the January 6 Capitol riot were particularly controversial. Despite losing the 2020 election to Joe Biden, Trump's influence within the Republican Party remains potent, and he is widely seen as a potential candidate for future elections. Kamala Harris, a historic and progressive leader. Kamala Harris, the current Vice President of the United States, represents a different path forward. Breaking multiple barriers as the first female, first Black, and first South Asian Vice President, Harris has built her career on a platform of social justice, healthcare reform, and climate action. Her background as a former U.S. Senator and Attorney General of California informs her stance on key issues, including criminal justice reform, immigration, and women's rights. As Vice President, Harris is focused on a range of critical issues such as immigration reform and voting rights, while also playing a key role in the Biden administration's diplomatic engagements. Although she has faced both support and scrutiny, Harris is viewed as a leading figure in the Democratic Party and a likely contender for future presidential runs. A potential showdown contrasting visions for America. If a presidential contest between Trump and Harris were to materialize, it would offer American voters two starkly different visions for the future. Trump's approach would likely emphasize nationalism, economic deregulation, and a more isolationist foreign policy stance. In contrast, Harris would advocate for a more inclusive America, prioritizing social justice, international cooperation, and climate action. The outcome of such a showdown would hinge on a variety of factors: voter turnout, key battleground states, the effectiveness of each candidate's campaign strategy, and their ability to appeal to independent and swing voters. Given the polarized nature of American politics, the stakes would be incredibly high, with both candidates aiming to mobilize their base while reaching out to undecided voters. Russia's calculations: what Putin expects. From Russia's perspective, U.S. elections are a strategic event with significant implications for its geopolitical interests. Under Vladimir Putin, Russia's foreign policy has often been defined by its interactions with the U.S., particularly concerning NATO expansion, sanctions, and regional conflicts. 1. Expectations from Trump. During Trump's presidency, while there were moments of seeming alignment between Trump's rhetoric and Russian interests, such as his criticism of NATO and his initial openness to improving U.S.-Russia relations, the reality was more complicated. The Trump administration imposed several rounds of sanctions on Russia over issues like election interference, cyber attacks, and its actions in Ukraine. Putin might see a potential second Trump term as an opportunity for direct negotiations and the possibility of reducing U.S. involvement in conflicts impacting Russia, although Trump's unpredictability could be a cause for concern. 2. Expectations from Harris. In contrast, a Harris presidency would likely mean a continuation, or even strengthening, of the current U.S. policy stance against Russia. The Biden administration has already imposed sanctions on Russia over election interference, cyber incidents, and human rights abuses, and Harris has generally supported these policies. Putin might expect Harris to advocate for strong alliances with NATO and a rules-based international order, which could be perceived as more challenging for Russian strategic interests. Whom would Putin support? It's difficult to pinpoint exactly whom Putin would support in a potential Trump-Harris showdown. Rather than openly backing a specific candidate, Russia's strategy often revolves around exploiting divisions within U.S. society to create opportunities for advancing its own interests. In 2016, Russian interference was perceived as favoring Trump due to his perceived stance on NATO and potential for direct engagement. However, Russia's experience with the Trump administration showed that the relationship remained complex and often confrontational. Ultimately, Putin's calculus would likely be based not on personal preference but on a cold assessment of which candidates' policies and potential actions would best align with or oppose Russia's strategic goals. Whether through direct support, cyber operations, or diplomatic maneuvers, Russia would aim to influence the outcome in a way that maximizes its geopolitical leverage. Conclusion: as the world watches the potential political showdown between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, the stakes are not just national but global. The policies and leadership of either candidate will have profound implications not only for the future of America but also for international relations, including how major powers like Russia navigate their global strategies. For voters, the decision will come down to which vision for America's future they believe in and how it aligns with their values and priorities. Thank you for watching my video. For more videos, please like, share, and subscribe.